leave the workforce temporarily to have a child. And I believe that the maternity leave package should count for your first 2 children. That way, you can recreate yourself and then recreate a second person. So that also helps to fix the insolvency of Social Security, which is supposed to go bankrupt by 2040. We need to rebuild the population. Yes, a point of contention?
Point of contention.
Senator, I'd like to address Senator Simon Fields. Yes. Taking the floor.
Thank you, Senator Gold. I was just wondering, are we debating about Hillary Clinton's family leave plan or just maternity leave?
Yes, I forgot to specify that. Yes, we are debating Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton's maternity leave package, which I am speaking on the Senate floor today for implementation by our 245th Congress. So let me just restate my arguments. So I believe that by supporting the culture of life, we can help to solve the insolvencies of Social Security, which is supposed to go bankrupt by 2040. Yes, I believe that once again, like I was saying, there are the feminists and the social justice warriors and the people who call institutional misogyny. Well, I'd like to quell some of their fears and say, if we give women the ability to take some time off work and then have job security when they go back into the workforce and they have that security and that same job they had before, right? We can start to close. And then my third point is that a package like this, a bill like this, will start to close the gender wage gap, right? Because, for example, when women take time off work, now they're a year behind their male counterparts. This is also why I'd like to make a point that we should also give the men. If the men want to take advantage of this maternity leave package, they should also be able to take a year off to be with their wife, to make sure that she's eating the proper foods, right? That she's, taking proper precautions, that she's making all the right decisions to make that child, right, is going to be perfectly healthy, right? So we shouldn't, just give the women this public subsidy. If the man who's also is going to be a part of this family wants to take time off from work, we should also give that. I also believe, I don't necessarily know how I feel about making it mandatory for the man to take time off work, but if we did, just point on the side, that would start to close the gender wage gap. Because, like I said, when women take time off work, it actually gives them a disadvantage because now they're a year behind their male counterparts when they want to re-enter the private sector. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Senator Ted Cruz, Senator Bernie Sanders, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Well,
Senator Marco Rubio.
Can I?
Senator Al Franken. Senator Randolph.
I'm not sure if I want to call myself senator, but I was like a few years ago I would have loved to call myself senator. That's besides the point. We're here to discuss Hillary Clinton's family leave proposal, and if I remember it right, it covers the first 12 weeks after giving birth, and it covers mothers and fathers, as my opponent pointed out towards the end. Now, I think that there are many problems with this. Well, I don't really think this, but I have to think this because I'm standing in the opposition. There are many issues with this policy. First, let's look at my opponent's arguments. He says that the main reason why we should have family leave is to get women and social justice warriors to stop complaining. Now, I know this point was made facetiously, but there are many things that women do have the right to complain about, including the fact that that they do have a gender wage gap, as my opponent pointed out, and that gap will get worse if this policy is adopted, as we will shortly see. Now, my opponent spoke about the need to support a culture of life.
Point of contention.
Yes.
I would like to make sure that during my opponent's speech, he does clarify how this maternity leave package actually widens the gender wage gap. Will you address this during the course of your speech?
Of course I will.
Thank you.
A culture of life, certainly we should aim to do that, but I don't think that this would actually support that culture because of things which I will point out regarding the gender wage gap and regarding the ways that this will affect families, especially families with single mothers. And then my opponent's next point was about the solvency of Social Security. I failed to see the link between women getting time off and women and men getting time off from work and the solvency of Social Security.
Hold on. Point of contention?
I'll take your second of 2 points of contention.
Okay. My second point of contention. I made it very clear why I believe that Social Security is going insolvent, and this can also help quell the issue. I said a woman creates one child that replaces herself on this earth, and then she also has a second child. See, we're actually having population decrease. The only way that Social Security was able to even be created in the first place is because we were having a baby boom, right? You're familiar with the baby boom?
Okay, wait a second. All right, thank you for your point of contention. And I would just point out that, first of all, now I have 30 seconds to make my point. First of all, the way to solve Social Security is to raise the cap on payroll. Second of all, here's why. Wait a second. I took your point of contention. Please, thank you. The next thing is that when we consider the effect of leaving the workforce, which my opponent pointed out, that when women spend a year leaving the workforce, they are at a disadvantage to men. And that is, as my opponent points out, that is going to widen the gender pay gap, that is going to make finding employment harder, and that's only going to hurt women and children.
I did a 2-minute speech, right?
Yeah.
So,
whenever you're ready.
okay. So I felt like I was a little bit all over the place on my first speech. So let me just address the one major point that my opponent pointed out about the Social Security, right? Because that was a big point of, my maternity leave package, right? Or I should say, Senator Hillary Clinton's maternity leave package. So the whole point about Social Security is that the way it was able to be implemented by President Franklin D. Roosevelt is that we were counting on constant population growth, right? So it was for every one Social Security recipient, right? Someone who is elderly. Right now, we have 10 young people like ourselves paying into that one person, right? But if the population is rapidly decreasing rather than increasing, if people are having less children, right? People are having less children, then, for example, it might be only 6 young people paying into one person's Social Security check every month, right? And then as the population decreases even more, it might be only 3 or 4 people paying into someone's Social Security. So, by maintaining that we at least make sure that the woman replaces herself on this earth and replaces her husband on this earth, we can at least maintain the population will stay at a steady rate. That's the only point I'd like to make, is that by 2040, the majority of politicians in our, respectable American Senate have said that Social Security is going to go insolvent by 2040. And I don't want to have to cut benefits for seniors. It's their money. We took it from them, right? Rather than let them invest it in the stock markets and the private sector, we took that money from them. And by Al Gore's, predictions, what he said, he said we were keeping it in a lockbox. That was a lie. We weren't keeping it in a lockbox. That money's been spent a long time ago.
He was never elected, so we don't know.
Well, my opponent just said that the money was never, he was trying to prove maybe Al Gore's point was right because he was never made president. But no, it's not true. There was never a lockbox. The money has been spent, and we need to find ways to save Social Security without cutting benefits to seniors. I think this maternity leave package will help do that because it'll keep the population growing at a steady rate.
This is on video, Mom.
Listen, boys, do you want a podium? Because I have one.
I would love a podium.
Yeah, we have one. It's funky, like everything else in this house. Yeah, give me a minute.
It would help the audience not have to look at how his fly's down right now. Oh, made him look. Oh, it's not down. You're fine.
No, this is
Okay.
live.
No, I'll get it, but just let me take my shower first. Or do you want it right? Okay, I'll get it right now.
Or wait, is it?
Oh, my opponent is supposed to be making a 2-minute speech right now. Has decided to walk away.
Don't take it.
I'll make another 2-minute speech if you'd like. This might have to go longer than I thought because my first speech was a little bit messy.
Okay,
So
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
You guys are in rare form considering I know you haven't done it for a while.
This is
You're
getting
really
started.
great.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Hold
Can
on.
I start over?
Sorry for my.
no. Mother interruptions don't get you your time clock to start over.
I'm literally like putting things together for good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, 2-minute speech. Go.
All right.
You guys, okay. I'm going to show you where the podium is.
I have a old Jewish grandmother who lives in Rochester. I have my bubby, so I find this all very funny. Would you like some hot chocolate?
Robert, please don't.
Would you like
Robert.
a podium?
Robert, please.
Jeez, Mom, you don't sound.
She's so nice. Arlene is so nice. She's the most She's an exemplary mother.
What do you
Yes, she
want?
is.
Sycophant. That's okay. Sycophantry will get you everywhere.
You are an exemplary mother. And may I please have $20 for this?
Help yourself. I'm trying so hard to
Okay,
censor myself.
2 minute speech. You'd like to respond to my social
Yes,
security
I do.
point?
No, do you want the seriously?
We would love the
You
podium.
really would. Okay.
We would really
But
like
is
it.
it-
So
do you want me
I
to
have
help?
I have
I'll
no
have to
good
do
film
this.
editing skills, but you're forcing me to have some.
Okay, I was going to paint this podium and put a Union Jack on it, in the Englishman's honor, but
Is this the podium?
that is the podium, but it's, no, it's got stuff in it. I have to take all my stuff out of it.
Okay. Please tell me when you've taken it
Really
out.
quickly,
and I'll-
Jeffrey, look, can you point the camera to that painting up there?
It's it was in my grandma's house.
See, what kind of Bill Cosby-ish mother or maid are we looking at right there, where she's forcing that child to hike up her dress
Oh
for?
my God, that validates your point, Robert. Gosh, doesn't it? Sort of.
I guess I said I went for maid instead, but
Yeah, well,
we don't know.
she's servile no
The
matter
funny
what.
thing is that
Servile?
Don't you think?
What does that mean? Servile.
What does that mean?
servile, like
She's a
Servile.
meaning having to do with being
With
a
a
servant.
V, with a V, right?
Servile, being a servant, no?
Oh, servile. I thought she said servile. I was like, she does like a little Serbian, I guess. I was like... Okay, you want to make a 2 minute speech?
yeah. All right. So my opponent dedicated his rebuttal to his point about Social Security. Now let's be very clear about this. Social Security can be fixed without a population boom, or even without. We already do have the birth rates necessary to keep population at the same rate that it currently is at. But even if we didn't, I think it's important for us to realize that if we raised the cap on payroll, if we said that instead of taxing the first $118,000 with the same rate and saying that everything above that does not get taxed, but if we say that Warren Buffett has to pay the same rate that everyone else does, Social Security will be solvent until 2075. If we raise the rates even slightly, it could be solvent until 2089 as well. So I don't think that we need to do this policy in order to do that. And there are many problems with this policy.
Point of contention?
And,
Hold on, I just
I'll
have
take
one
your
question.
first of 2 points of information.
Thank you. So point of contention? What, are you saying that a man like Warren Buffett should only be taxed on the first $118,000 of his salary?
I'm saying that he shouldn't be taxed on only the first 118. I think he should be taxed on everything that he makes instead of having him paying less than his secretary.
Okay, so my opponent is saying tax the rich. That's how he'd like to solve Social Security. Okay, that's fine. I would like to keep it going the way that FDR originally envisioned it, but sure. Okay, tax the rich. Okay.
FDR was totally okay with taxing the rich. But anyway, another point. So here's the thing about, as I said earlier, the issue is that women are put at a disadvantage when they take family leave and when they are out of the workforce. And furthermore, it makes it harder to keep employment going. It makes it harder to. I set the timer 16 seconds earlier, and it makes it harder to keep jobs in this country, and jobs will leave the country for China or India or Bangladesh, or jobs will be automated more rapidly because it will be more expensive to keep people on to keep women and some fathers on their payroll. So that's going to hurt everybody. Thank you.
Okay, so my... 1 minute. So my opponent, Senator Simon Fields, who I have great respect for, made a very important point about the gender wage gap, and he said that our maternity leave package would actually increase the gender wage gap, right? Which was a major point of my first speech. So the reason that I added in, I don't know if you remember, but during my first speech, I added in a point in which we said that the man, possibly compulsively, would have to take time out of the workforce along with his wife, right? To take care of the woman that he has impregnated. So if we were to make, for example, a mandatory, I should say a compulsory system, which the man also had to take time off work, while the woman is taking time off work. Do you think that would solve the part of the gender wage gap, so that men and women are both